It is 9 p.m., and of course, that means it is time for One Fall. I'm Sean Stanley, as always, joined by Jaccare Givens and Johnathan Ramakan. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I'm feeling good.
Fantastic.
Good week of wrestling. Don't forget you can catch us here every Thursday around 9 o'clock on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel here. And then, Johnathan, what's the new Twitter handle for the fight?
It's at Fight Reasons. So we got, of course, it's on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So we're at Fight Reasons. That's all our HQ for our pro wrestling stuff. Pretty much everything combat sports. So we'll get you covered MMA, UFC, boxing, and of course we got you keeping loaded right here with all your pro wrestling, everything here.
All right, guys, we're gonna jump right into it. It was a action-packed week. WWE returned to live audiences, and of course that means one thing. It is a Vince McMahon sighting. The first thing. What were your thoughts? Because I'll give you mine in a moment, but the first thing you saw when Vince McMahon walked out, what's the first thing that went through your mind when Smackdown opens and the first person is Vince McMahon?
Jaccare, you can go ahead, bro.
I kind of expected that, because that's his MO. He did it at WrestleMania. He always makes a big appearance on certain things, so I was not shocked by it. I already knew he was going to open the show with something, something right up his alley. So I wasn't shocked by it. What about you guys?
I was like you said, I wasn't too shocked to see him, but I was very shocked at the positive pop that he got. Right, I felt like with the current product, the current state of the product, a lot of people have been voicing their displeasure lately, and I think that might just be, hey, the show just started. We're all excited to be back in live audience. They could have threw anybody out there and he would have gotten a pop, right? So that's kind of what Vince McMahon got because he is doing the first thing in front of the live audience. But yeah, I was just super curious that we actually got more cheers. I would have expected a lot more boos there.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was he going to come out and make this long speech for the first 5 or 6 minutes of SmackDown. I was so happy he said 6 words and he turned around and went back to the curtain. I was so happy. He's just like, where the hell have you been? It was the greatest thing to me of what they did there on SmackDown to me, because I really thought it was going to be another one of those 20-minute things where we're gonna bring it to you, the fans, and give you, the fans, the rah-rah, and we're really not going to listen to you, but we're going to tell you we're going to listen to you because that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. They lie to the audience. They were talking about it on the NXT thing that they were actually chanting Hardy over Karrion Kross's intro on NXT, and they actually had to reshoot it. And the way they told the fans they're going to reshoot it is they said they're going to be a surprise, and they lied to the fans. There was no surprise. They were just going to reshoot the Karrion Kross intro and making sure that the audience wasn't cheering Hardy due to his obvious, what happened on Monday Night Raw. But lying to the WWE universe isn't something new for the McMahons.
No, nothing at all. The show in general, what were some of your takeaways from there? I did like the way, again, the Roman Reigns, Edge, the Usos, that whole thing. I love the whole build-up, the way it's gone, the way Money in the Bank the way it rolled into Money in the Bank and with everything that happened there, which we'll discuss in a little moment there. But I still think just Roman, to me right now, is SmackDown, other than I think maybe Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks when she comes back. But that, to me right now, that's the faces of SmackDown.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Roman Reigns is the most polarizing figure in the WWE right now, in professional wrestling, period, right? Before with Roman Reigns, when you were hearing boos and cheers, it was cheers, I like the babyface Roman, or boos, I hate this babyface, get him out of my face, turn him heel. Now it's cheering because I love this guy's act, and this guy is the immaculate he is. We will acknowledge him, we will cheer for him. Or boo, we're booing we're booing him as a heel. So now it's the gimmick that's getting the audience's reaction instead of the character of himself, right? I mean, now he's able to truly be what Roman Reigns is, and we're seeing that generational talent that he could be. So having him in front of the audience, just having him bask in it for a little bit, you saw that he took it in, right? You see him taking in the audience, and having him in front of a live audience is so much better than having him in front of a bunch of screens.
Well, I don't think we hated Roman Reigns because his ability was never in question. I think we hated they was shoving him down our throat, giving him reigns that he didn't deserve. Every championship run he had was stupid. It was like fraudulent. He would come and I think that's what put Seth Rollins over at at WrestleMania when he cashed in, because we were tired of Lesnar and Reigns. Like, we didn't really want to see that match, and for him to come in and hit the curb stomp at the time, come back, and then it just it erupted. So I just think that's our biggest problem. But Roman is money now. I can't say enough about his character. I love this John Cena Roman Reigns take. I'm excited to see that. I know we get a WWE flat, but they had a hell of a show at Money in the Bank. That was one of their best. That was one of their best pay-per-views probably in the last 2 years. You got every booking decision besides. Well, I don't know, because Sean, you called Nikki Cross. So we got every booking decision that we thought we were gonna get. We knew Roman was gonna retain. I love how Seth Rollins came in and interfered, and I love Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, how they called John Cena's return. Like, that was exciting. I haven't heard Michael Cole really be that exciting in a while. You also, the Big E with the spot off the ladder with the big ending to win that. That was an amazing spot. So I think they gave us everything we wanted to see. And it gave us new faces, new characters. The only thing, I will say that I don't like is, Goldberg challenging Lashley for the title. But
I want to get into a little bit more of that in a minute too, as well. As you were saying, I mean, I think, what did you think of the Bianca? Because I know you're a big Bianca supporter, as am I. What do you think? Because a lot of people were saying the Bianca Carmelo match was really good. I thought it was a good match. I don't know. I thought maybe more was going to come out of that, and now they're going to run it back again this week as well.
Well,
I just thought there could have been more. I guess
we know that they're going to run it back, but we know Sasha Banks is that's going to be the match for SummerSlam. Yeah. They've done a very good job keeping Sasha off TV. She hasn't been there. She showed up the first or 2 weeks after WrestleMania, but they've done a very good job. Obviously, you can see this Friday where she interferes in the match and knocks, whatever. But I think Belair and Sasha is going to be a money match. And then I also think I want to say I have to see after the giraffe shake up to see who will be next for Belair, because we know it'll be Sasha in August, and then maybe her and Sasha again in October. You get the 3 times, and then I think the giraffe will kind of show for her. I would like to see Liv Morgan get a shot in that feud. I don't know how they can do it, because here, like, Bianca's getting a lot of pop, so she's obviously going to be the face. But she does. They did in that Hell in a Cell show that she had a mean streak. They kind of built up very strong in there. So I like I said, I know Sasha is next for her. Wouldn't be surprised if they bring back a Trish Stratus or something like that, maybe, to give her something to get her over.
Big name. I think you're gonna see a big name. I agree with you right there on that. Johnathan, your thoughts on the whole Carmella and Bianca?
I mean, who cares, right? Honestly, who cares? They did nothing to build it up, right? There's no build behind it. Sure, you can get a great match about it, but honestly, right now, that's just more about, showing what the skills of Bianca can be. And that's what these matches should be for now, right? She should be squashing somebody like a Carmella, because honestly, her gimmick is really awful.
But if we're being honest, it was supposed to be her and Bayley. So
fair point.
The injury did switch a lot of this, because I think Bayley was the opponent up to when Sasha would come back, and then flip it, and it'd be Bianca and Sasha there. Like you're saying, let's go ahead and let's move on to Money in the Bank. Man, there's a lot to start with. Let's go ahead and start with the Money in the Bank matches first. I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it afterwards on the replay. But on my timeline,
you got a better show than we fucking did, so don't be mad about that.
Well, I heard Peacock was having with their things, but I was seeing a lot of stuff kind of downplaying the women's ladder match. And I didn't necessarily see it when I watched it. I was just wondering what you guys saw on it, because on my timeline, it was like the women's ladder match is probably one of the worst matches on the card. But when I watched the whole thing, I thought it was pretty well done.
The match itself wasn't too bad, right? I just think that ending spot, it's really hard to sell to me because you're making 6 competitors look kind of stupid, right? You have 6 people on the ladder, and sure, you want to sell this superhero thing, and it got her the Raw Women's Championship, which is, all the best to her. I'm personally not a fan of the gimmick, but I think they could have done something a little bit better for her to capture that, right? Have her knock off all 3 ladders somehow, right? Clear the deck and have her win it more legitimate. The match itself, though, was pretty good. She had a pretty good spot. She almost messed up when she jumped from the outside to the inside. She almost slipped. I got so scared.
I was scared, man. I seen that. My eyes got big. I'm like, oh, hell. Like, she's about to, like, break her neck or something. So that was very, like, that. But back to your point, Johnathan, I don't – the women's match was amazing all around. I didn't like that. I don't like that they're making Alexa Bliss like this superhero stopper, because I can almost guarantee that Nikki Cross and her are finna feud now, like, right? Nikki as the superhero, Alexa Bliss as this villain.
Yeah.
That could be it. That honestly could be it. I can see that happening, or I can see, her and Charlotte, because she was getting these cheap wins over Charlotte as well.
I think that was the whole thing building this up, is that
yeah,
Charlotte and Rhea both took her so lightly, and then they also cost each other the matches when they were doing it. And then in this match, it was kind of like, okay, we took care of Alexa, we're fighting each other, and everybody forgot about Nikki again. And then what does she do? She just climbs up real quick to the top of the ladder, grabs the Money in the Bank, and gets out of there. And to me, it was one of those things where she's always forgotten about in a way, the way the character's going. And that's kind of why I like the way the finish goes. And again, I agree with you. It does kind of make the other 6 competitors look pretty weak, but it goes with what the story of her whole character has been, is everybody kind of looks over her and doesn't even realize that she's there. And that kind of is how they ended up doing that finish, to me, is how I look at it.
Yeah, that's a gimmick, almost a superhero. So I agree with you 100%. But I know we're heading towards Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross as a feud, so that's coming. And I'm interested in you guys' take. What do you see Bray Wyatt getting back into the picture? I think he'll be great in NXT. To be honest, I think that would be a very good spot for him. I think him and Samoa Joe can feud because they've never really feuded. So I think that'll be good. But back to Money in the Bank for sure. I love the whole pay-per-view. I can't sit there and lie. They delivered.
They delivered 100%.
They delivered big time. And I think they gave the fans almost everything that they wanted in the pay-per-view, as far as you gave Big E the win. You kind of had the surprise with Nikki Cross if you wanted to go. Because, again, when you looked at that match, the way it was kind of laid out was, I honestly thought, Alexa might get it, but then if you wanted to throw a wrinkle in there, you could have gave it. Liv was over that weekend. Yes. Liv Morgan could have been one. And that Nikki, when she first came out, I was like, because I know the finish, I know what the finish is. So when they introduced her, she really got not much of a reaction.
No, she got zero reaction.
She got popped though on Monday night when she cashed in.
Well, no, she got a pop.
Yeah, anybody will get a pop when
she got the Money in the Bank briefcase. She got a pop too. So during the match, she kind of won him over. But at the beginning, because I had already known what the finish was going to be, so when I heard the intro and then it was just kind of like crickets in a way, there was some rumblings, but not much. And I was like, oh, but then by the end, I thought it was great. Let's get into also Big E winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought, again, a tremendous match. I thought the way they took out Kevin Owens, again, they do it the right way as far as eliminating somebody to where it's not just everybody laying down from a drop kick and then somebody going up the ladder.
Yeah, they did it perfectly, and that's a painful spot, man. That was a painful bump. That looked real bad.
I think he hurt his neck on it, if you're not mistaken, because when Seth Rollins did the spot, I seen him hit, and I said, damn, man, I know he hurt because he was really down. They ran over there and checked on him right away, so I kind of knew that he kind of took a bad bump. So,
Yeah, I think he forgot to tuck the chin. I think he hit the back of his head.
Yeah,
And
it
the
looked
ladder
like
in
he
that
did.
ring, those things are unforgiven, man. I mean, and again, yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. Maybe it was gimmicked up a little bit, but you're still 270 pounds going through a ladder, and that's not cool. With Big E winning it, we'll see where that goes. The Usos did win the SmackDown Tag Team Champion.
But Big E, how he won is how he needed to win. Like,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? They gave him the super spot off the ladder, the big ending. How Seth Rollins sold it and everything, and for him. So I was ecstatic. I know people were like, "Oh, I wanted Big E. I didn't want Rollins to have it because Rollins doesn't need it. We know where Rollins is heading. You know, Rollins didn't need it. The only other person I would have gave it to is maybe Matt Riddle, but we already know he's heading into a match with Orton fairly soon, which will be a good match for him. And then I think
it's gonna be soon.
Yeah,
I think they win the tag team titles first.
Well, true.
I think they probably put them because
if they allow it to play out, that would be the way to go. I just don't have any faith with anything on Raw.
I personally want AJ Styles to drop the title because I want to see singles AJ Styles.
Yes.
I don't want to see him in a tag team.
Yep.
I like AJ Styles one-on-one. Him, the phenomenal one, doing his stuff because he's the best wrestler of all. Like, he's one of the greatest wrestlers in this generation. So,
and he's having to do all the work right now because almost can't bump. So
yeah,
he's
can't at all.
Taking everything for there, and they did retain their titles, and of course they're going to run that match back again next week as well. They kind of did this week as well.
I'm upset with like I said, I don't know why they ever changed them for the War Raiders because they were over with the War, like the War Raiders, and then the Viking Raiders kind of killed them. So and they didn't build these guys properly. They had them in dumb things with the Street Profits.
Yeah, man.
Like so it's kind of like
axe throwing and all that stuff. Basketball.
They're not a threat. And it's similar to. We're going to get into AEW later, but it's similar to AEW not having great main event guys. They have a lot of upper mid-card guys. So those signings of a Daniel Bryan, of a CM Punk, make a lot of sense for them because they don't have, other than Hangman Page, Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega, they don't really have no other main event guys. You got Cody Rhodes, but he can't challenge for any
I think you could throw Jungle Boy. I think Jungle Boy's entering that picture. I think Jungle Boy can hold his own there.
But it's not like WWE's main event scene is killing their scene, though, if we're being quite honest.
Well, Roman is. I don't know about Bobby Lashley. I have a little bit
I love how they made Lashley, though.
I like the way they made him back. The
new Lashley is much better.
The way they made him come back out.
He had to squash Kofi like that.
Oh, that was great.
Because Kofi's always going to get a crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Let's actually touch on that. Let's touch on the match a little bit because that's a great point to touch on. That was a great match. And I think the way, like you said, Sean, the way they're rebuilding his character now, although I didn't like him breaking off from the Hurt Business, I do like what they're doing with him now, making him a serious threat. Yeah, him absolutely squashing Kofi was perfect.
Yeah, and then on the previous Raw, and Bobby and MVP in the scene, and he was like, "It's time to cut this, and it's time to get back to business." It was perfect, and he goes out there and squashes Kofi. I know people were upset, but he had to do that. You can't give him no offense in that match because Kofi is gonna get over, and then you was gonna have maybe you change the booking decision mid card or whatever. So you had to go with that, and I love how they made him look strong, and I like this Lashley. And I think he's going to squash Goldberg, too. I think he's going to run through Goldberg.
No, that'd be interesting. And then here's one of the things I thought about, and this is down the road booking, right? But Bobby Lashley squashes Kofi, right, of the New Day. Well, Big E of the New Day just won the Money in the Bank briefcase. So in the long run, you can have him. And again, because McIntyre said he'd cash in on any brand, on any champion.
Well, we know he's going to SmackDown, though.
He's going because you're going to keep Lashley as the title. But I think ultimately you have a play, and if they want to do this. But again, it goes into that long-term booking where I don't know. I don't think WWE wants to go into that long term of booking, but that is definitely to me in play with Big E winning and with the way he squashed Kofi so easily. It kind of at least will play into that. They bring that back up on that time.
He squashed both members. To your point, he squashed Xavier Woods, he squashed Kofi, and now I think that with Big E, we know he's going to challenge for that title because we already know that Roman Reigns is tied up. I do want to get later in the show. I do want to get to later in the show. Do you guys feel like John Cena is going to go over at SummerSlam over Roman?
No, we'll get into that here in a moment because
for sure.
One other thing I do want to hit on. We kind of hit on it. You hit on it a minute ago, Jaccare. The Edge Seth Rollins. I think the way they've rolled that out and the way they played it to cost Edge the title and put Roman over in that match, I thought it was put together very well. That was one of the things I thought trying to figure out was, okay, how are they going to keep Edge? Because again, remember, go back to WrestleMania. If you go back to WrestleMania, it was Edge laying on top of Daniel Bryan getting pinned by Roman Reigns. That was the image leaving WrestleMania. And I was trying to figure out, okay, they can do all this stuff and say, okay, Daniel Bryan cost Edge his opportunity in this and that, but he still stacked both of them on top of each other. And when this match played out, I thought the way interviewing Seth Rollins right kind of before, and then he comes out, it costs Edge, and now you're rolling Edge and Seth Rollins into this. At least they're showing a way they want to see this move out and play. It's not just stop, pick up here, stop, pick up here. You're starting to see at least, and maybe it's Edge having some control in how this is playing. I don't know what 100% it is, but at least you're seeing now, and as you said, the main event guys, when you're looking at that at WWE, you're starting to at least see things beginning to kind of play out. You're seeing the Roman Reigns getting challenged now, which we know by Cena. You're seeing Seth and Edge. Edge and Seth Rollins.
To add to your point, Edge and Seth have kind of had a similar career path where they've ascended as opportunists, right? Edge came back as a rated R superstar. He made the Money in the Bank famous, right? He cashed in as the open, and that was his character for a while. When he was, ultimate opportunist, cashing in Money in the Bank, cheating his way. Now we fast forward to Seth Rollins, who in the beginning was in the Shield, just like Edge was in, with Christian as a tag team. They were both tag team champions, but they got their big break cashing in Money in the Bank. Like Rollins got over because I know I will never forget the moment where he's standing at San Francisco Stadium, turning the title around like this. So I think they're gonna build it up as you cost me, and I think they're gonna build Rollins up as like you want to. I'm the new you, and Edge can say like you want to be me. You know what I mean? It's sort of like how when they built John Cena and Roman Reigns the first time, and they was kind of saying like they wanted to build you like I'm the guy, but like this, I think this match, if they let those guys do them, that match is going to steal the night at SummerSlam.
That's a great point. I really could see that as well. How about you, Sean?
No, definitely. I mean, again, Edge has none but great matches. Seth Rollins, we know what he can do. You put the both of them together, and it can be very – I probably would not want to be the match that has to follow that right after.
No. I think Edge and Seth Rollins should open the show, to be honest.
Oh, that's a good point.
That probably will actually start the show on there. Charlotte Rhea, I just want to kind of jump into that real quick because that's going to kind of play into the Raw portion when we go to that next. Your thoughts on the Charlotte and Rhea match at Money in the Bank?
I thought it was a great match overall. I mean, the build itself, it was a little bit rough for me to get into it, right? At the beginning of the match, even the crowd was chanting, "We want Becky." Yeah. Charlotte gave him the finger, which was phenomenal, right? But I think as the match went on, the competitors show what they can really do, and they went. The crowd went from "We want Becky" to "This is awesome," right? Yeah. We saw the shift in the crowd, and I felt the same way. I felt the match was absolutely phenomenal. The ending, it's like a little bit confusing to me because the way that Rhea got disqualified using the table, I'm not sure. It's using your environment a little bit differently with the steel steps, so I can see why they didn't.
No. That was on Raw though.
It did. Okay, so they did talk about it. My bad. I just might have been slipping my mind with that. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
cool.
Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. The finish at Money in the Bank was Charlotte snapping, basically putting her leg in there, and she's. I to be honest, that was probably one of the best matches of the night.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Charlotte, and she played right into the antics of sticking the middle finger, and we all know her and Becky's off-screen relationship. We do know they're really good friends, and to say that, and I like when they make Charlotte the aggressive Charlotte. I don't like that whole trying to mimic the dirtiest player in the game. I like when they make her snap and she's seething, and that's at the end of the match what it is. She's finally had enough. She kicked out of the natural selection
from the top rope.
She kicked out. I said that she had enough. She put her leg in there. She snapped, kicked it 3 times. Then can roll back in the ring, and she went for the figure 8, as she called it, and it was an amazing match. And then the follow up on Raw, obviously we know they cashed in, but Rhea Ripley, I think they're gonna battle. I think you'll have a triple threat match with those, or a fatal 4-way or something like that. I like the only thing is what is Becky Lynch gonna be though?
Well, see, I think that's the built up Rhea enough where she's. No, I was gonna say I think they built up Rhea enough now to where she doesn't need the title as much as she did at the beginning, coming in from NXT. I think they built them up.
And honestly, I made that point last week.
You could do a triple threat match with Charlotte, Rhea, and Becky if she comes back, and none of those 3 have to have the belt on the line. As
Nobody
you said,
would even care.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You could have Alexa and Nikki going at it for the title, and you'll still have triple threat going on right there. Same thing, So I think the women's division's in a good place, especially on the Raw brand, as long as they can keep that going. Let's move into
Becky. I think Becky goes to SmackDown.
No, I do too. But I hope they bring her to Raw maybe at the beginning, or let her be a free agent. Let her go both brands. Build that up or something. Johnathan, you had a.
I was say before we get on to Monday Night Raw, I want to talk about that a little bit. Touch on that Roman Reigns match. That it was a phenomenal match. Absolutely, the storytelling in the match was great. I think they built it up great. It was was it 30 minutes, 35 minutes long. The way they had the Usos come in and the Mysterios stop them, that's another great thing because they can continue that storyline there. I thought that was phenomenal. The way they had Edge jump in not once but twice, great, right? And I think if I'm right, Roman, I think, thought that there was a referee in the ring.
Yeah,
there wasn't a referee in the ring.
Yeah.
Because Edge was supposed to get that 3 count to give him the babyface cover, but he still kicked out, right? He still kicked out, which was really funny. At the end of the night, though, he did get the win. Like we said, Rollins cost it in the match, so that's going to be a great match as well.
And I love how they had Roman scold the Usos earlier in the show, and he had him. It's like now, and we all know at the DUI, he was like, "Oh, like you wouldn't even be here, especially you." Like, you.
I was laughing at that.
Yeah, it's a little subtle hints. There's subtle hints in, and make sure you can be a part of the conversation. You're listening to us on YouTube. Go ahead, send your comments in, or hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Sean_Stanley11. Jaccare, you're at KingJock24, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Johnathan, you are at 3-piece combo. The word 3, THREE. Piece combo. So you can hit us up there. Let us know. Get in on the conversations. John Cena, he returned also at Money in the Bank, and then he opened up Raw. And SwishGod_TV, I saw your comment, and I agree 100% with you. He opened the show, which started off great with him there, and Raw from there, questionable. We'll say that. Out of them. And also, real quick, I wanted the Smackdown. 2.3 million this week was their number, and Raw was 1.9. So both with great increases with the live view. But let's dive into Raw. John Cena returns at Money in the Bank, kind of confronts Roman Reigns as it's going off the air. Then he opens up Raw. And the only thing that I did not understand totally is you open up Raw and you're talking nothing but SmackDown.
Right.
Because you're going after Roman Reigns. That was the only thing. I mean, I understand they wanted Cena to be out there in front of a live audience. I get all that. And he still threw out the whole thing like there's a bunch of, men and women in the back that are here to entertain you. He did his whole John Cena stick and everything. I just didn't understand so much emphasis. Why not throw Lashley in there a little bit too? Leave it open because they're leaving Cena open as a free agent. So why not leave it open? We get where the end game is. We understand where the end game is with Roman Reigns. But I just thought that was the one part that I didn't understand. But again, they had the fans eating out of his hands, so it didn't matter. But your thoughts on Cena's return and then also Raw?
Jaccare, you can go ahead, bro.
Well, absolutely. I ain't gonna lie to you. When he came out at Money in the Bank, I felt the kid in me again to see him.
Yep.
And I was
you didn't do the
yeah, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, cause we all cover wrestling. That's what we hear. That's what we get paid for at Fire Reason. We cover wrestling. We hear rumors all the time. Nah, I'm joking. But we is gonna get paid.
Yeah, wait, I was gonna talk to you there, Jaccare.
But like this is what we're covering, and we hear rumors all the time. Like, he's coming. But to actually finally see John Cena there and how he came out, and I love how Reigns kind of was like, this dude ain't just interrupt my moment. Like, this is me. This is my time. And like I said, and then to see when they cut the scene with the kid, when they cut to the kid, to see the kid just going crazy, like, Cena. It was exciting then. I mean, I understand your point, Sean, but we all know why he's there. So
no, exactly.
Bring that viewership up, baby.
Yeah. So let's cut to the point. We know who he's challenging. We know it's gonna be Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, whatever. But I do agree, like, why not, throw everybody out there? You kind of like, okay, we know, like, SmackDown. Then to say, oh, I'm gonna be on Friday Night SmackDown too, like, we know.
Yeah, we figured that out, John. Thanks, buddy.
One thing that I did kind of take note of on the Monday Night return was, in a way, I felt like he put Matt Riddle over, right?
He did.
Yeah, he
felt like
yep.
In a way, it was kind of a mini passing of the torch. It wasn't, but he gave him his moment, right? He gave him his moment, and that's not a lot. That's something probably more rare to wrestlers today than getting a WrestleMania moment, is getting a moment with John Cena, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a really good moment for Matt Riddle as well, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was interesting because I watched an interview with Kalisto, of all people. He was being interviewed, and he was talking how John Cena actually just gives so much to everybody. They were messing with him. It was the Lucha Party, and you may remember this, but he did the Juan Cena with the mask, and they were like, hey, if you could come in and be, cut a promo in the back with us, maybe it'll help us get over. And they said John Cena showed up the next week with the mask, and he did it. Just because he was asked. Anything you ask of John Cena, he's going to do. And you kind of see that there. And again, I agree with that on the rub there, even though he almost got hit with the flip-flop. But
yeah, right.
That's one thing I love about Cena is he'll put anybody over. Yeah. Even when Kevin Owens beat him that night, it was like everybody was shocked. Like, come on, man. And then he
understands it's going to make money down the line. I mean, you got to make these guys. That's the problem, I think, now with where some of these are at now, is that who do you see right now on the Raw roster that is going to battle Lashley right now, honestly, and take the title? I think that's one of the issues they have now, is they really don't have anybody that is, necessarily, I wouldn't say, believable against Lashley, but they just haven't built people up like they used to. Maybe it's because, again, guys there, but I want to go into now real quick not one return and one, if you want to call it a debut. Karrion Kross debuts, loses in less than 2 minutes to Jeff Hardy. And then also Keith Lee finally comes back. I don't know what his issue is. I don't know if it's a health issue. I don't know if he's back for good. But to me, Karrion Kross was put in the shittiest of situations as an NXT champion to show up and have to lose to Matt Hardy, who lost to Veer on main event the Sunday before. And now he's going to beat you in less than 2 minutes. I get it. It's the little tricky roll up, however you want to do it. shitty ending. That's
And
all
then,
I ask for.
and like with the carrying cross thing, it's like you have him lose there, and then like you building him up against Samoa Joe. Like the shit makes no sense at this point.
None.
Like,
And then you had a year you've been building up on NXT as this monster. He shows up on the roster, no Scarlett, and I guess Scarlett must be like what's the god who had the long hair? Zeus, is that the one with the long hair? And when he cut his hair, apparently him without Scarlett is not carrying cross. It's just
some random guy
walking around. Yeah, I mean, because
there's no smoke, there's no lights.
Yeah, he looked like honestly, he looked like an enhancement talent with a good build showing up on a Raw to lose them to Jeff Hardy. That kind of was what it resembled.
The only point is this: the people who watch Raw don't watch NXT for the most part. So that's why. I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you though, because it's like, why in the hell? I watch NXT, so I know Karrion Kross has been running through that roster, right?
But isn't that your chance to kind of showcase NXT? They're champions right there. Your chance to say, "Hey, every Wednesday night you can watch this," to just show. To me, it was Vince McMahon saying, "Let me show you what's wrong with NXT."
But I don't
believe that as a brand. I look at it as my developmental. And this guy is not better than my main roster guy. It doesn't matter who I put him in there with; he's going to get beat.
Yeah,
by the transitive property. Go ahead, Jaccare.
But like I said, I do like as far as NXT. I love Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong being together. But yeah, I'm with you on that. The Karrion Kross Hardy was just like typical WWE. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and then with Keith Lee returning, and again. No takeaway from Bobby Lashley beating him. I just didn't think it had to be a clean pin. I think he picked him up and he did the slam on him, which other people have kicked out of. Kofi and Xavier recently, and that got the 1, 2, 3 on Keith Lee. And again, I don't know. There's been rumors that he maybe has some health issues and things like that. So maybe this was a one-off and he came back just to fight with Bobby Lashley. But if that was a return, to me, one, I don't know if you put him in with Lashley, if that's going to be returning. And if you do put him in Lashley, why does it have to be that? Goldberg's coming down. So why not have Lashley snap on him or whatever, not release a hold, and then have Goldberg make the entrance if that's the ultimate payoff? Because we all know, all of us sitting here know the ultimate payoff was to get through the match so that Goldberg could make his great entrance through all the fireworks, through all the sparklers, breathe the smoke, and come down and say, "You're next."
I mean,
go ahead. I'm done. No, go ahead. I'm like I said, I'm done with that.
With the Karrion Kross thing, it makes it feel like Veer is now better than the whole NXT roster, because Veer beat Jeff Hardy, who just beat Karrion Kross. So now Veer, by the transitive property, is better than the entire NXT roster. Vince continues to make me not want to watch NXT, because now you see all these characters go and get killed. I think Finn Balor gets killed, right? We didn't even talk about Finn Balor returning. Yeah. But he came back, right? I mean, do we see the cool Finn Balor that we saw on NXT, or are we going to get the Colgate promoter with the guy that's smiling all the time, right? So, with having Karrion Kross come in and losing 2 years undefeated, Triple H is crying. Triple H is absolutely crying. He built this guy for 2 years undefeated, and now he goes and he loses. And I thought it was horrible. And to have Keith Lee reintroduced, everybody was wondering where Keith Lee is. To have him reintroduced and take an L, another questionable decision. You could have had any other guy try to step out. Humberto Carrillo, right? You could have Ricochet come out there and try. Ricochet sells bumps. Great. Ricochet would have been an excellent opportunity, right? And then you have, like you said, Goldberg come out against him. But very questionable decisions about the talent they're bringing out of NXT. Keith Lee is not fresh out of NXT, but what has he done since he come out of NXT? They've taken away what he was in NXT, and they're taking away what Karrion Kross is in NXT. They're taking away Charlotte, having her sing in the beginning, having that black and white light, having the red light when he's in the ring. That's what makes him epic, right? When he was beating his chest in the ring, going along to his beat, it didn't feel like Karrion Kross. So that's how I felt about that. As far as having Goldberg come in and after that match, cool moment, right? I mean, obviously, as far as WWE, they're going to want to bring in casual fans as well. So Goldberg is that guy. Goldberg is that name. And Jaccare, like you said, if Lashley squashes Goldberg, I think that's a good way to put Bobby Lashley over.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. The problem, this is the one problem that a lot of people say, oh, why do they always bring back Goldberg? Why do they always bring back Lesnar? Why do they always bring back whatever? The proof is in the numbers. 1.9 million tuned in to watch Raw. You're watching that because you know Goldberg's returning. You know Cena's coming out. Those are the guys. And Vince is always going to go back to that well because everybody tunes in to see that. The highest viewed shows have always been the legend shows.
Yeah. And it's just guys get to revisit, like the guys in our age group, for instance, we get to revisit that moment as a kid, seeing
that nostalgia feeling.
Yep. I will cut to something that we're gonna touch on. CM Punk to AEW is a done deal.
Is it?
At this point, they're just waiting to sign the contract in person.
So I mean, any closing thoughts on Monday Night Raw before we get to that real quick? Because we can just cut right to AEW. I mean, we have a couple of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys want to touch on just on Nikki cashing in, because I think that's the only thing that we didn't touch on for Monday Night Raw before we go on to AEW.
Yeah, I think that was the good feel-good moment of Raw, right? It was the Nikki Cross cash-in. I mean, this was the one thing, and it was funny because I was talking to somebody before that, and they were like, if Nikki has the briefcase for more than 3 months, it's going to be an Otis type thing, where she's probably going to have to lose her this and that. And I had sent out, and I was like, well, why don't she cash it in tonight? Because when I saw Rhea against Charlotte, I was like, this is going to be perfect. Because you know they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and now you leave. But I didn't know the way they were going to play it out, where Rhea snaps, leaves Charlotte laying, and then it's a quick, easy thing, But I thought that would be the match where a tough fight, maybe whatever they want to do for a spot, and then Nikki comes in and gets a roll up or something there. But I thought it was a great feel-good moment, and I thought you saw raw emotion, her jumping in the fans. And again, I know they're trying to create something more there, but the fans were there for it, and that's what makes it a little bit special.
Yeah, it was a good feel-good moment. Although me being not a fan of the gimmick, me being a fan of the person of Nikki Cross, I think it was really good for her to win the title. I think a long time coming. I would have loved to see her win it as when she was with, I can't remember the group's name off the top of my head right now. Sanity. I would have been great because she could have been this crazy champion, right? Have this, and then people would have been scared to challenge her, right? She could have been something like that. But, although she has this kind of gimmick, I'm glad for her to win this fight, and I'm curious to see what they do with it next.
Yeah, that's going to be the whole thing. The follow-through on this reign is going to be interesting to see, which I hope, again, but I did read something this morning, and I know we're going to jump right to AEW right after this, but there was a thing of why Charlotte Flair only held the title for one day. Well, now with this reign, and because they took out the NXT reigns, she's now at 11. So she needs 6 to beat her dad.
Oh, she's going to crush that, though.
No, but I think that's what they're trying to do now is just kind of,
they're trying
win here, lose the belt, win here, lose the belt, and now she'll end up being the 17-time champion. And maybe that's a precursor of, John Cena not getting that and have Charlotte actually be the one that beats her dad's record.
I think Cena going over.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We'll have to see there. All right, let's Johnathan, I think, just hopped off for a moment, so we'll see when he comes back on. But Jaccare, let's jump into AEW. A lot going on. A lot happened on AEW Dynamite, but we'll jump into that in a moment. Let's talk about a lot of the rumors or the news that's being reported now. Bryan Danielson, however you want to do it, right now looks like he's on his way to AEW. And then now you just said CM Punk is pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered to AEW. What does this mean for AEW going forward?
Well, like I touched on earlier in the show, AEW needs some guys in the main event scene. Because they have a lot of mid-card to upper guys. They don't have that star. I think Punk and Bryan bring that star power they need. Because I'm an absolute fan of Daniel Bryan. I love CM Punk. I hated CM Punk had to leave WWE on the terms he did. I always thought he should have went back to WWE just so he can, rub it in their faces, kind of. He could add that character. But they absolutely need those two guys to push them over the top. That's a shift in the paradigm right there when you get those guys.
Yeah, and real quick, just so you know, AEW Dynamite this week, 1.148. So not bad. They have increased in the last 3 weeks. They've gone up consistently. They were at 895, then 1.04, and now this week 1.14. So and again, if you're bringing in Punk and you're bringing in Bryan, you had a lot of names come out this week as well on AEW Dynamite. And again, as you said, I think this gives them more of a star power. But also, one of the things that I'm very interested in this is they give a lot of creative freedom to their performers. And I just can only imagine, because I know Daniel Bryan had creative freedom with the whole Roman Reigns and the way that was going. He was, kind of creatively free with that. But with him in AEW, with some of the matchups he could have, and CM Punk as well, creatively, I mean, there's no end to how far this could go. And I don't know if you guys know, but the Arthur Ashe Arena, the tennis arena, is where they're going to be in New York City, and that's sold out. And in that, my understanding is that's got some people in the upper, Titan Towers talking, because I don't think they thought they would do good in New York, and they came, they saw, and they sold out, and they actually opened up more seating now, and that's almost sold out.
I think it's great for them because, like we said, can you guys hear me okay, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, looks like you're on a little bit of a delay, but yes.
Okay. But yeah, as far as having these two guys come to AEW, I think it's great. Like Jaccare said, having a little bit more fluff in that main event scene is just going to make it better. And the Arthur Ashe Stadium is also where they're rumored to have Daniel Bryan make his debut, right? So I think that would be great. So, man, AEW is making big moves. They're already breaking the 1 million a week threshold. So if they add people like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, who are, in my opinion, major needle movers, I think that takes the next step to bringing them a little bit closer to WWE.
Like I said, if Punk comes back to wrestling, which he should have never left in the first place, he should have just took some time off, and them they hashed out the thing. He kind of left on bad terms. Some people say he quit. I don't think he quit. I just think he should have took some time off, and he should have just talked to WWE. Because one thing I will say about Vince and Triple H, when their stars give them pushback, they do a great job of making them happy. Look at Sasha Banks when she left and came back. She had an instant title reign. She was in great spots on the main card. Like she got her way. And I think if Punk would have just took time off and told him, like, hey, this is what it's gonna be, he would have got his way. So I just think he did a poor job of that. But to each his own.
Yeah, but also I think he had enough at that point, because he had they gave him, the ball for a while, and then he slowly, you saw it kind of go back the other way. I think he had lost faith in the front. And now I don't know if he was talking to Vince or Triple H or anybody else, because I've seen so many things now from a lot of the guys that have been released. And again, I get it. They're not CM Punk. I get it. They're not any of these guys like that. But some of them had never seen Vince McMahon. Some of the people that have been released had been with WWE, and I had seen him maybe once or twice in 4 years. So, I mean, it's not always as it appears, I think. But I think, like you said, I think if he would have let cooler head prevail and maybe took a step back again and thought about it. But I think to my understanding and the way it went down was he had already talked with them. Everything got smoothed out. It was rolling fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, another wall. And he was like, okay, so this is the way it's going to be. And then he just bided his time. And again, as you said, Jaccare, I think you're right, though. If he would have just kind of taken the step back, looked around and saw what everything was, I think maybe he thought he was going to do better in the UFC, and he thought maybe he could do that route. I don't know what the thinking was. I don't know what, maybe somebody in his camp or somebody was telling him, hey, here you go, let's do this or that, and I just, but again, as you said too, Johnathan, is they are needle movers. And if you add that to what AEW already has, just real quick on this last show, Chavo Guerrero now in AEW.
That made me very happy.
Thunder Rosa signed. I thought she was already signed, honestly. But now she is officially AEW. You're watching all this stuff happen. The IGPW US title was defended. Moxley loses to Archer. And I thought that match was very well done, the way he got stuck in the barbed wire to not be able to get up. But then also you saw New Japan, the Bullet Club, show up, and you're watching all of this transpire. You've got AEW talent, you've had NWA talent, you've had Impact talent, you got New Japan talent. You're watching Nick Gage shows up. He's with Game Changer Wrestling and some of the other things there. You're watching all of this. It's almost now to the point where it really is Vince McMahon versus the world, because everybody else is starting.
And that's why that was one of the main reasons why Daniel Bryan wanted to leave, is because he wanted to wrestle over there in New Japan. So I think when his contract with AEW, they allow him he doesn't work as many days, and I think he has the flexibility of wrestling over there in New Japan.
And that's what they're doing with most of their contracts in a way. I mean, you're watching. I would love to see how some of these contracts are being done. For instance, the Good Brothers are under contract to Impact, but they're wrestling, I think, more on AEW TV than they are on Impact. Who's paying who?
Maybe they're getting paid by both.
Oh,
maybe they have a deal where, hey, we can work, TNA, we can work AEW, we can bring our champions over, and you can have our people show up. I mean, this is, like you said, it's Vince McMahon versus everybody else, because everybody else is doing everything they can to create amazing stories, amazing matches, and they're bringing so many dream matches to life, right? Everything is putting together. Like, even within AEW, the Death Triangle versus Andrade, having Chavo coming back, right? Having Aleister Black come in and having him face Cody, although maybe not the best dream match that you can have with Aleister Black just yet, but that's the first match he's having coming into AEW. They're laying out amazing match after the amazing match. They have the best tag team in the world in the Young Bucks. They have probably the best tag team division overall, because they have FTR there. They have Proud and Powerful. They have a great tag team division. So I love how they had I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but the guy from New Japan in the Bullet Club in the front row sitting there, and have him come up after Lance Archer wins the title in his hometown and look down at Lance Archer. That was something that was pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah, I think it's Hikalu or something like that, I believe is his name. And he's I believe he's the son of Haku. I think he's Haku's son, I believe.
That's what they said on the air.
His brother, I think, is Tonga, which is another member of Bullet Club, which, if you've been looking on Twitter at everything going on, there's been a lot of play there. And that's, again, something else I think that AEW does really well, is that social media-wise and any platform that they're on, it's all content related, from Being the Elite, Sammy's vlog. Now I believe Ethan Page has got a vlog. You're watching, and it's pushing the product even more. And then you have great matches on there. I thought Britt Baker and Nyla was a great match. They did the Eddie Guerrero spot there in Dallas. So I just think AEW in a way is just, to me, it's more fun to watch. I like to watch NXT as well. I don't like overproduction. And when you're looking at those shows, to me, they're not overproduced. It's almost like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and go back. There was a thing on, who was swinging the chair 6 million times? Drew McIntyre on Raw. I think it was Raw with Jinder Mahal, when he was hitting the guy. Did you see how many times they were cutting in and out? Every time
God. It's awful.
I got sick. I had to turn. I had to leave. I was like,
they do it with the swings too, right? They'll cut back, side and forth, side and forth. Like, you don't need to cut to make it seem like the impact is more than it is. Have him take the bump. If you look at Veer or Shanky, I don't remember which one it was. I'm Brown, so I should know, I guess. But if you're looking at them, right, his back had welts. He was taking a legitimate bump. Like with AEW, when he, that chairs match with Shawn Spears and Chris Jericho, and even the bump with that John Moxley took, that inside spine of the chair bump that he took from Lance Archer. Damn, that looked like it hurt. but they didn't cut the cameras there, right? They let them have the bump, take the bump. They overcut the cameras too much in WWE, and it's like you said, it makes you a little bit nauseous for sure.
All right, Jaccare, let's go ahead and let's start winding this down. We kind of got into the discussion of the day already. I put on there for what the hell is wrong with Raw. I think we've kind of went in detail on that a couple of times, so we won't bang up on them any longer. Let's go to our thumbs up, thumbs down segment. Jaccare, you want to get us started?
I'm giving a thumbs up across the whole wrestling world this week. I think everything was good. You look at, Money in the Bank. Friday Night Smackdown was good. Look at Money in the Bank came down very well with some of the spots. Raw was okay. You had your surprise moment in there with Cena coming, and then you had Nikki Cross cashing in. And then Tuesday, we're going to get Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross, which I love. Then I go to AEW. They just seem to have explosive shows every week. But to add, if they, from what we're reading on reports, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk almost done deals. That's just exciting. And you just give a thumbs up because it's going to make everybody step their game up, including WWE. So I think you'll be in for a lot of great shows from now on.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. The better the AEW, before I get to my thumbs up, thumbs down, the more that AEW does to push the game of WWE up, the better that we are going to be appeased as fans, right? Because the better that WWE can make the product, and the better that AEW can push WWE to do better at their product, it's only to make us better, right? And I'm a big SmackDown fanboy because I grew up having to go to bed before Raw started at 9 p.m. So I would only get to watch SmackDown on Friday nights. So I love seeing their show. So I'll start with that one. As far as my thumbs up there, having Roman in front of the fans, man, seeing that happen again, I think that was perfect. His gimmick is perfect at this point. I think he is the current wrestling god, right? Kenny Omega's great, but Roman Reigns is on another level. So I thought that was great. Can't really give a thumbs down for much on Friday Night SmackDown. As far as Money in the Bank, thumbs up. I'm going to give the thumbs up to them getting Big E right, and not giving it to Drew McIntyre. And as far as my thumbs down goes, Money in the Bank was great. No thumbs down there, right? Monday Night Raw, I love John Cena moment. I thought that was great. Obviously coming in back in the Money in the Bank Raw, or for Money in the Bank as well. Thumbs down, like you said, after John Cena left, Monday Night Raw wasn't all that special. There wasn't really much to look forward to. I mean, sure, you had the moment at the end where Nikki Ash won, but yeah, thumbs down to the rest of the Raw outside of John Cena. NXT, I'm excited to see Samoa Joe come back, so that's fun. But as far as AEW goes, my thumbs up moment of the week is Orange Cassidy and Sting doing the leg taps on each other and going nuts with the crowd. That had me laughing my ass off. Like I was going bananas with that one. That was a lot of fun. Can't give any thumbs down. The entire show of AEW was absolutely phenomenal. So that's my thumbs up and thumbs down. Where are you at, Sean?
All right, SmackDown. I thought the whole show was good. So just a thumbs up in general there. Money in the Bank, thumbs up to getting it right. I think with both Money in the Bank winners, Big E and Nikki Cross, or Nikki Ash, or Nikki ASH, however they're doing this name there. To me, I don't think there's really a thumbs down in the Money in the Bank. I agree with you guys. It was a good week of wrestling. Raw, the Cena opening, the cash-ins, I thought was great. Thumbs down on the Keith Lee return. The way it was laid out, not the fact that Keith Lee returned, the way it was kind of laid out to me left an empty feeling. And again, not knowing if this is a one-off and it was his hometown and he came in and he fought the champion, then so be it. That I'm okay with that. But if that was to reintroduce him, I think they missed it. Karrion Kross, the drizzling shits to me. NXT, I thought I'm really getting into the hit row. I like what they're doing with the hit row and everything, and now they're fighting Escobar and that group there. I thought great thing. Thumbs down. I don't really have one. The only thing that maybe the thumbs down was I thought maybe they got it wrong with Diamond Mine, but again, Roderick Strong is the main portion of Diamond Mine. Roderick Strong did not get pinned, so I'm okay with that. But I thought if you want to go with something there, Diamond Mine a chance to get that built up. Did you miss it? But again, Kushida got the pin on the other gentleman, so it didn't really take away from Roderick Strong. And overall, AEW, all thumbs up to me. All thumbs up. I had to rewatch the Moxley match to watch the ending just to see it. But again, I think the way that they are introducing characters, the way they are allowing performers to grow, mixed in with the veterans that are coming in, I just think AEW right now is making the leaps that they need to make, and you're seeing that in the numbers. And this week's numbers, again, thumbs up to everybody. Everybody went up, including NXT. NXT was a 709,000, but they did increase. So all viewerships across all of the main shows increased this week. So
I think we're gonna see an increase anyway because it's no NBA finals, so you get
now we will. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, guys. Final parting words.
Yeah, I just want to, thank everybody for watching. Make sure you like the video. It's free and it helps us out when it posts as a live thing. So, and if anybody has comments, right, make sure you guys join the discussion as well. Comment down below any thoughts, anything while we're talking as well. Make sure you do that. My brothers Jaccare and Sean, appreciate you guys joining me. I thought it was a great week of pro wrestling. Getting John Cena back hit me right in the feels. Got the nostalgia going. So that was great for me.
Jaccare, sir.
Whew, well, we got one good month in. Now I think we're gonna have an explosive August, and I think we're gonna head back to some wars, man. I think we're gonna get the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, third. Like I think we're gonna get a whole war now.
Yeah,
and also I think WWE is gonna make a splash signing soon.
Yeah, I think they need to. They need to.
Yeah.
Again, it's great for the nostalgic feel to bring back your Cenas, your Goldbergs, but you got to start getting. And honestly, the NXT coming up to me doesn't look like it's going to be a good mixture because you're watching how they kind of portray the NXT talent. So I don't know, and I think I agree with you. It's got to have to be a good, and they're going to do it. I mean, it's not like they're not going to do it. And again, a lot of this is happening now because they're back in front of fans. They're gonna start making their money now. Now they can start making moves. Both AEW, you're seeing Impact, as a matter of fact. They brought Chelsea Green in. You got Drama King
Cardona over there too, right?
Yep, Cardona's over there. So is Myers as well. So again, you're seeing all this talent, and there's a lot of talent out there right now that's free agents. You still got Braun Strowman. You got all the releases that just happened with WWE. And again, WWE is going to be releasing people. AEW, I'm sure, again, as things roll out, they'll start figuring out their rosters and everything else. But I want to thank everybody that was in with us. As to echo what Jonathan said, make sure join us with the comments. Hit us up on there. Hit the like button. And make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Sean_Stanley11. Jacare's at KingJock24. And Jonathan's at 3 Piece Combo. That's THREE Piece Combo. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight with us. And until next Thursday, 9 o'clock, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State.